Okay, I'm back again for part 2 of my orchard walk. This is the Cortland tree that I was just talking about if you watched part 1, with the 3 apples, and they had been bagged, and this is what they look like without the bags on. That's a beautiful apple right there. Here's another. They have a real I don't know, powdery sort of a film. Not waxy so much, but like a white powder on them, which I guess is normal. And if it's not, it might be due to the bags they were in. The stems are a little bit deformed from the bags I had used, but I'm sure it hasn't caused any damage to the apples. Now this one here, this apple actually has a blemish on it, and it ended up looking like russet, but there was a bug bite on the thing. Let's see if I can get in there and show you. I gotta aim the right way now. Let's aim the right way. Here we go. You can see a little brown blemish on the bottom of that apple, in the shade here on the right, and it ended up just being like a spot of russet, but that is due to a bug bite of some sort, which is really the reason that I bagged these apples. Is if a bug was going to start biting 1 or 2 of my apples, and I only had 3 apples on the tree, I just didn't want that to happen. So as far as how the bags work, they look like this. Now, all this is a regular Ziplock sandwich bag. Red and blue make purple, I guess. But all I did was I nipped the corners off just a little bit so that moisture and water could drain out and air could get in a little bit, but not so many bugs. And then the centers of the zips are just snipped ever so slightly, because that allows space for the stem. So then you can zip on both sides of a stem, have this bag hanging sort of under the apple. The apple grows inside of it, but with the 2 corners cut off of the bottom facing down, water will be allowed to escape out there while air can get in. The apple can grow as big as it wants. The stem isn't seriously constricted by the zippers, and then the bag is real easy to remove at the end of the season. So it seems like a system that really worked to keep bugs away. And that way I didn't have to spray this tree at all either. So now, if you had hundreds of apples to bag, obviously that's not a good option. But for a small dwarf tree like this could be a real good option, so that you don't have to use pesticides or anything. So that's it. That's my Cortland baby there. Right here, you can see my strawberry patch, which is actually all potted. And it has taken off like crazy because this past spring, all I had was this 1 container. This is the original plant here, and you can see that it's still producing real well. This is its 3rd year, but I did, I kind of shook off, I pulled the plant, shook off the roots a little bit, and repotted it with new soil, and then it was sending out runners like you wouldn't believe. And so I was like, well, if it wants to send out runners, I'll let it. And now those runners have produced dozens and dozens of new plants. And you can see I've got some beautiful strawberries. Here's some white ones off of the new plants. So it's not really enough to make a pie with or anything, But if I wanted to, which I think I will do next year, instead of planting pumpkins over in this corner, I got a corner that there's nothing else really better than put a strawberry patch or something over there. So that'd be cool. So I'm going to plant these in the ground in that corner next year, probably, and should expect dozens more plants growing over there. Here's my grape tomatoes. I only really like the grape tomatoes because they're easy to put on salads, you don't have to slice them or anything, and they have just a really good flavor. And they're very productive. I only water this plant every couple of days, and it's doing fine. It's probably not as healthy as it could be, but it's producing dozens of tomatoes on a weekly basis, so I'm really not complaining. A nice carefree single plant here, enough tomatoes for my salads. Now here is the Sweet 16 tree. I'm still disappointed with how this tree has turned out, and it's my own fault too, because I had tried to graft all these lower branches over to Kingston Black this year, which none of the grafts took. And so effectively what I've done then is I've stunted the growth of all those branches severely. So now I've got growth up 6 feet high. And I've got a couple of branches here. And I've got a bunch of branches down there that aren't very big. They're maybe 1 foot maximum, except for my experimental branch down here, of course, which I've allowed to bush out. I've talked about that one on previous videos. My plans for that are just to let it fruit for a couple of years and then chop it off. But I know that that's absorbing some resources out of the rest of the tree, so the sooner I get rid of that branch the better. But on the other hand, it shouldn't be sapping the resources to this extent. This is the 3rd year this tree has been in the ground, and it's only 6 feet high. So it's not doing so hot. So I think I might do something radical with this tree as well, and just I might this winter cut into 2-year-old wood, cut all those branches right off. Or if I decide to keep the branches, maybe I'll cut right above them and then cut these back to, you know, just leaving 2 or 3 buds on each one, little nubs, to give these other branches a chance to grow out. And, you know, they say that the harder you cut back, the more vigor you put into the tree, so to grow new branches and whatnot. So I'm willing to do it. I'm kind of disappointed with how this tree looks right now. So that's the Sweet 16. And now, last but not least, in any means, is the black gold sweet cherry, which I'm very pleased with. It's put on a lot of good growth this season. Here is, oh, I have to go in the house apparently right now. I better, here, let's go see what the boy wants. Lucas! Okay, I'll come in 1 minute. I'm supposed to order lunch. Okay. We're having submarine sandwiches from Fatso's. Good subs. So anyway, I won't even edit that out. It's kind of... Anyways, here's where I topped the tree off right here. So I've put more than 1 foot of growth on the central leader here. I'm going to grow this as a central leader as opposed to the vase or open center format. It didn't really want to grow up though. I had to attach this string to bring the branch more vertical. But overall, I would say that's a fairly vertical tree. And then, of course, I have all my side branches on here. This is a nice one. Here's another. And I guess I may or may not tip those branches next season. Still kind of debating about that. But what I'm really happy to see is you can see these little like sort of star-shaped buds on the bases of the where the branches have come out, and all of the branches seem to have those. I think that's where the cherry crops come from. That's where we'll get some cherries future years. Yeah, these might, even the tips of these have 3 or 4 buds on them. Now, I'm not a cherry expert by any means, but I think those might be the beginnings of fruit buds, or they might be the fruit buds. And then at the base of each branch, there's maybe a half dozen, 6, 8 buds on each one. I think those are all cherry producing buds. So we should have cherries, if not next season, the season after for sure. This is a dwarf cherry, which wasn't easy to come by. I had to order it from Rain Tree because that was the only nursery I could find that'll give it to you on Gisela 6 dwarfing rootstock. But I don't want the tree to get huge. I just want to have a decent crop of cherries each year that are easy to pick. The kids will be able to pick them. So that's looking to be shaping up to be a real good tree for us. Now, I'm already in trouble for not ordering lunch yet, so I'm going to sign out.